Well, I would like to thank every one of you for joining us. I don't know how many of you were in the last Zoom. It's truly a great pleasure for me to see you here, to meet you, and hopefully meet you in person in Israel. And thank you so much for making time to join us. And also, I would like to thank Jonathan for arranging these Zoom meetings. This is very important to not only to share about our vision and to explain some of the details, but also for you to have this opportunity to ask your questions. We try to put all the information on the website, but I understand for some people maybe it's a little confusing and still they have questions. But for those of you, I'm sure most of you know me and heard my story. I don't want to go to that details, but I just wanted to, again, for those of you who were not in our last Zoom meeting, to mention that how this vision started, Root and Branch. It was through through my first trip to Israel that I got connected with Jonathan. I'm so blessed being connected with him, and I strongly believe God had a purpose to put us together and working together. And I can't thank God enough for this partnership between Jonathan, his nonprofit, and my nonprofit, newpersia.org. And also the vision has started when I was in Israel seeing lots of olive trees, and which got my attention. And I was thinking about a meaningful way. I was mentioning that this vision started in my first trip, 2023. And I was thinking always how in a meaningful way we can support Israel, and which give birth to Root and Branch. I shared my vision with Jonathan, and praise God, we put things together, and is very smart, intelligent about the details. The name is so amazing that he come up with that beautiful name that has a great meaning between Jews and Gentiles. And we started this project, and last year was amazing that many people joined us, and including Eric, who is here. And I think that was very meaningful for everyone. And it's not just my vision or our project. I strongly believe without people like you, a vision could be just a vision, an idea. And it's because of people like you who love Israel, who are determined to show your love to other people, your unconditional love, that makes a vision meaningful. And that's the power of a vision. And it's not just about one person. It's about all of us. And I mentioned last time that we, at this time, especially that Israel is at war, Israeli people are suffering because of all those attacks. And shamefully, I feel strong shame when I read the news that, these missiles coming from my birth home because of this evil Islamic regime. This is a time that we can show our love to Jewish people. And that's why, especially for me, as someone who was born in Iran, as a Persian, I strongly would like to do something, because for so many years, the Islamic Republic regime brainwashed people and tried to create hate in the hearts and minds of people. So for me as a Persian, it's very meaningful to do something in Israel and to support my Jewish brothers and sisters. And as Christians also, we all know that, Israel is the Holy Land, the land of our Savior, Jesus Christ. And it's gives more meaning to this project to do something in action, not just sitting in our home and say, we love you, we support you. Root and Branch give this opportunity to every one of us, to all Christians who join us, to be able to show in action and support Israel. So last year was so meaningful because everyone shared that how much the project impact them. I believe Eric is here. He can also share his experience if we have time. But Root and Branch is not just about harvesting olives, going to do a labor work. It has a lot of activities that give us this opportunity to build a friendship with Jewish people, with the community, and to communicate with them. Like, last year, we were able to sit with the family of the hostages. One of them was Gad, that all of us gathered, we prayed and together, which was very meaningful for all of us and also for him, because later I received a message from one of my Jewish friends that she told me he texted a message and he mentioned how much he was impacted by what we did, and prayed for him and talked to him and having fellowship with him. And my hope is that this year, with this new group, we can celebrate, his grandsons get released by October, and we can celebrate these two together. We had opportunity to visit the soldiers, to talk to them, to pray for them. We had the opportunity to have a few days tour. And also every day it was like a family, being together, eating together, and having a fellowship, not only to worship Jesus and to pray, but also to have Shabbat together and enjoy our time together. So that's why this is, I believe there is a big difference between this tour with the other tours that people join and to go. Usually people wanted to go to Israel and just to visit the biblical site and to learn about that. But this project gives us this opportunity not only to visit some meaningful and historical places, but also to build a friendship and to show our unconditional love to Jewish brothers and sisters, because it is true during the time of trauma and war that what we do to support them, to support those communities that were devastated by Hamas terrorists, and especially these days after Iran started shooting missiles and destroying many homes. So that's going to be more meaningful for Israeli people to see us. Even last year when people, were passing by cars, they were all shocked that we were doing such a thing. And they were asking, what do you do here? And we said that we are here to support you in harvesting olive. And that would, create a kind of, starting a conversation, being connected, and for them to understand that we as Christians, we support them, we stand with them. And I also mentioned last time my experience, the first year when I went to Garden of Gethsemane was one of the places that I stayed longer, and I was praying there. And I was thinking about what Jesus did for us, and I was thinking why he chose that place with olive trees. Maybe that could be a symbol, like olive trees. We know that when we wanted to create olive oil, we have to press olives and to get the oil out of olives. And to me, it was like Jesus showed us in action that he was pressed because of our sins, and his product was his blood, and through his blood he showed us our unconditional love. Root and branch can also be a symbol of that we produce olive oil, but that could be a symbol of our unconditional love to Israeli people, that we are here, we are risking our life during this difficult situation. We stand with you to show our love to you and to support you. So to me, it's very meaningful. And for those of you who read my books, always God give me a vision. It starts with a vision, and then he expand that vision to me. I shared some of those visions in my book, and one of those vision was distributing Bibles in Iran, which God gave that vision. And at the beginning, I didn't know how this is going to help, but we started, and finally, me and my friend were able to distribute 20,000 Bibles that I know by today that changed the life of thousands of Iranians, because God showed us how that vision, how he used those Bibles to reach out to more people. So I strongly believe Root and Branch is not just about going to Israel harvesting olives. It has a greater meaning. And I'm so glad that each one of you are determined to be part of that, part of this big vision. And as I mentioned, it's about all of us together. It's not about one person or two person. Thank you so much. And I don't want to get more time. I can non-stop talk and share my passion and encouraging you, but we need more time for you to ask your questions and Jonathan to explain the details. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for giving me this time.
Well, Marzi, thank you. We're partners, and I always think it, but then I forget. And when I listen to you, I never lose sight of the fact how inspired I am by you as an Orthodox Jew, and how blessed I am that we were connected and now we've become good friends and partners in this. And you mentioned your visions. And I made a note here. I wanted to say sometimes it's hard to keep up with all of your visions, but how amazing that God gave you this vision and we get to partner on it. It is truly, I don't remember who I was speaking to today, or maybe it was yesterday. My days tend to be a blur, but I mean it sincerely. If I can count in the last 20 years, the top three things that I've had the privilege of working on, Root and Branch is among the top. And those of you who know me for a while know that that's sincere. And those of you who know me recently also, and those of you who don't yet know me, you'll get to know me and you'll believe that I'm telling you the truth. It's been remarkable. And I wanted to pick up on where before we do questions and get into some of the technical things, excuse me, I wanted to pick up on what Marzi was saying in terms of the deeper level. I guess the roots of Root and Branch is that it's not just a trip. It's not just picking olives, although Eric, nod if you agree, the harvesting olives and climbing trees and hearing the sound of the olives falling on the ground and getting rained on 2 days while we were doing it. All of that was a remarkable experience that we will all take with us for the rest of our lives. But it's about, as Marzi alluded to this, connecting with people. So in fact, today I was in touch with our bus driver, Youssef. It was very important that I felt if we're going to pay someone to drive a bus anyway, let's have a story. Youssef is a Bedouin Arab who was credited on October 7th for saving the lives of 30 Israelis from the Nova Music Festival. He's a hero. He's been profiled in a book of heroes. He's been celebrated by the president of Israel throughout the media. And today he sent me a video. I wish it weren't only in Hebrew. We're going to see if we can get it translated because it's really remarkable, this man. And you just see the sweetness. So you connected with him. And we connected the man who pressed the olives for us is a Christian Arab. And it was important for us to have that extra dimension. Marzi mentioned that we got to meet a man whose twin grandsons, not one, two. It's hard to think about, are still hostages in Gaza. And one of the things Marzi mentioned, having a family, we became a family, all of us together, and we have a chat. So one of the things that I put in the chat recently, for those of you following recent Israeli politics and the news and the prime minister in Washington, and are we going to have another ceasefire and hostage release deal, is will Hamas be so evil to separate these two brothers, to keep one of them? And even though none of us have met him, we've now met his grandfather, their grandfather. We prayed for him. We've hugged him. They're our family by extension. Marzi did one of the most, if Root and Branch is the top three things that I've done, one of the top three things I think that took place was Marzi speaking to the soldiers when we made our dinner one night, a shared barbecue with soldiers who had just come out of Gaza, sharing love, great steaks and burgers and other things, but just sharing love and connecting with them. And Marzi, wow, I still never forget it. We can't ever show those videos, because we need to protect their identity. But what you said inspired them. We heard that so much. And then we got to you got the privilege of also participating through the barbecue that we did this week for pilots, pilots who were operating over your former hometown recently and sharing your thanks and apologies to them, also making really amazing connections. And the last thing that I would also add, there's a lot, there's too much to talk about. But the last thing that I would say is a week ago, 10 days maximum, it was just after the ceasefire was declared. I went down to the Gaza border area. I had some meetings and I visited in Sderot, which is the city that's right on the Gaza border. There was a horrific attack, many people killed, hostages taken. It's a city of about 35,000 people. And one of the projects that we have adopted, I say, on behalf of Root and Branch, that the proceeds of the money that we get will go to this as a program for at-risk youth. And I went back exactly, there's 6 different branches of this program. I went back exactly to the same one. Marzi, I don't even know if I told you this. The kids not only remembered us, remembered the Stewart kids playing with
Mm,
them and
yeah.
dancing and talking in Hebrew, but they remembered you. And
Wow.
one of them asked me if I could get them a copy of your book.
Oh
So
my
it's right
goodness.
here on my
That's
bookshelf
good.
to go
Thank
down there.
you.
We made a connection with these children who go to this program because their homes are not safe. So now we're connected with them. And all of these reasons, and yes, we're harvesting olives. We have to mention, and this only came to me a few months ago, we're not harvesting olives from cultivated trees in someone's orchard. We're harvesting olives, and go back and check the verse in Romans 11, from wild olive trees. Olive trees, Eric, did you ever think about it? The trees were so high in many cases we couldn't reach the top of them, which is frustrating when you see olives up there just another 2 meters above you, but you can't get them down. But they're wild olive trees. That's exactly what's being spoken about in Romans 11. And that, wow, I mean, all of this fits really well. So let me talk briefly now about the technical side. And you'll forgive me. I did not, I know many of you who are here, some for the first time, some joined us last time, some have made deposits already. And I think the main thing that we want to come out of this is everyone should make deposits, and I'm going to talk about that and share with those who will be inspired to come along. And one of the nice things about this, admittedly, and Rachel, if you're comfortable with it, maybe when I'm finished, we'll ask you just to say a hello and a word. We have great partners in the tour company that we're working with, Amiel Tours here in Israel. It's hard to invite people and get people to sign up to come to Israel these days. There's been a war, and yeah, I had to make Marzi co-host in the event that for some crazy reason I have to run downstairs to my bomb shelter. Every time there's an air raid siren, Eric sends me a prayer emoji, um, which I really do appreciate. So we're not out of it, but it's not unsafe. And ironically, where we're going to be in the south, we have a hotel in Ashdod, which is Israel's southern port city, a little further north than where we were last time, but we're accessing the whole Gaza border area. And we'll be back in many of the same places and same trees. And that's so interesting. If it was just a tourist site and I were to say, oh, well, we're going to go back to the same site we saw last year, some people would say, nah, I don't want to go. I saw it last year. But the trees are renewing fruit every year. So we're going to go pick new fruit from the same trees. And some of those trees are hundreds of years old and have stories behind them. We are working with the Nature and Parks Authority, the National Parks Authority, and they could not be more welcoming and more supportive. And next week, I'm going to see another site more toward Jerusalem. And he wants me to come at some point later to go see a site which is a remarkable tourist location in the Galilee. So I don't know how many people are going to join us, and if we're going to get all the way to the Galilee to pick olives, that would be super meaningful. But we have their support. I put in the chat here a little while ago, and we'll send it out. It's something I just did because a lot of people now there's a lot of activity about what our plans are for the year. So I put a PDF in the chat that you're all welcome to open and download and save, but it basically has all of the details that you need to know. The price is $2,690 per person based on double occupancy. It's about $900 more if you want to stay in a room by yourself. We're encouraging people, if they don't already have roommates and want roommates, to recruit a roommate, to bring somebody who you'll love spending time with. I just saw Cindy's joined, and Cindy was with us last year, and she became great friends with Natalie, who was put in the same residential facility, and deep friendships have blossomed, but we want you to do that. All of the details are on the website, but basically it's several days of harvesting, not full days, not morning till night, but mornings at a reasonable time after breakfast. It'll be a little warmer this year because we're going to be in the latter half of October, and as compared to the latter half of November, so it'll be warmer. It probably won't get rained on this time, but that didn't really seem to bother anyone too much last year, other than getting us a little dirtier. All the details are there. There are 2 days of formal touring, but every day, just about, that we're traveling and picking olives, we're also doing something that's experiential. Whether it's a briefing with soldiers, whether it's going to sites that have now become memorials, but deeply sad, but yet deeply inspiring, and showing why we need this kind of unity together. The technical side, and we can answer any questions you have about the details of the program, but I want to encourage you, if you haven't made a deposit yet, do so. I can only pray that we'll run out of space. I don't know, but I don't want you to be left out. And I do want you to make that deposit. And one of the reasons that it's important that we chose to work with Amiel Tours is because it was important for Marzi and myself that in the case that we're still in a situation where people are uncomfortable coming to Israel for any reason, you weren't going to get penalized by making a last minute decision to cancel. And Amiel, with their professionalism, with their credibility and integrity, has a very generous policy that up until 25 days before arrival, you get all your money back. Nobody in Israel is offering that, and that's important to us. And then it's scaled, and that's all on the website. If you cancel within 3 weeks, if you cancel within 2 weeks, or within 1 week, there's different amounts, and that's perfectly legitimate. But we want to encourage people to step up and make those deposits. And as I said, bring your roommate if you don't have one. Share this with others. We are also working with certain ministries that are interested in bringing their own groups, and trying to help make that as personalized as possible. So if that's relevant to you, then please be in touch with Marzi and myself. I do also want to encourage, I don't know who of who's registered has also booked flights. They're parallel. We have another fabulous travel partner in Fellowship uh, Travel to do the airlines. People can book their own air on their own, whatever they want, but because of the possibility that airlines might stop flying again, because routes might get interrupted. And that's always possible. You can always just have a flight delay and miss a connection or something. You want a reliable a travel agent that can navigate you through anything. And Priscilla's nodding because Priscilla was here recently and used them and didn't have any problems, only had great service, but we know that if there's problems. The other thing I mentioned about flights, now's a really good time to start booking, because we're seeing, as of this month, after all the international airlines stopped flying, now they're coming back. That gives you more options, but it also lowers the price. It's a supply and demand thing. So book flights now, because they will just go up as it gets closer to fall, and rely on fellowship to do that. Um, I think I've covered everything I want. Rachel, would you like to say anything? Well, we certainly want to introduce you as our reliable anchor here in Israel with the cool sunglasses.
Hi, everybody. Sorry. It's actually sundown now and I'm just driving on my way home and, sorry for that. It's actually not Rachel. It's Yael here.
Now I see that
Yeah.
behind the glasses. Hi, Yael.
Rachel, I don't know what's happening with her. I think there's some issue with her Zoom. She couldn't get on. But hi, everybody. I'm Yael. I'm from Amiel and I'm partnering with, you guys to make this happen. As you can see, it's safe and we're happy in Israel. I mean, happy is, but everything's okay here, and we're waiting for people to come and visit. And flights are coming back in the next couple of weeks. So as Jonathan said, it's easier to find good flights now than it was up until a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Okay.
And,
Amazing.
and of course, the registration site. If you have any questions, you can forward them to us.
Right. And just technically, when you're looking for information, it's easiest to always send you to rootandbranchisrael.com. But on our website is a link to register with Amiel, and it goes to their website. And by the way, also very critical, you should know this. Marzi and I were very strict about giving over your contact information to someone who wasn't reliable. So we're very grateful for our partnership with them. And any questions you have, also, it's very important because we don't want anyone to be frustrated. Our work week ends on Thursdays here. Around the rest of the world, Fridays and sometimes Saturdays are still people are working, but Amiel doesn't come back until Monday Israel time. So you might send Yael a message and she might not hear from her. That's not her being dismissive. That's just the time difference, and we'll all
But
work
I'm
together.
always, and I'll just follow that up with saying that even though we don't work on Sundays now, we usually do, but because of the situation, but I'm always available on email and on my WhatsApp if anybody needs anything, and even through the weekend. So if it's
Wow.
urgent, just text me or email me, and I'll be happy to help.
Okay. That's a lovely offer. Thank you.
Yeah.
Marzi, do you think maybe before we talk about the conference, we should open to questions?
Yes, I don't have anything to
Great.
add now. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Yeah. So if anyone has questions, um, raise your hand, unmute yourselves. We'll try to do this orderly. Anything.
I have a question.
Yes.
As travel agents, how do we book it? Do we use the Amiel registration page?
Speaking.
Sorry, it's Johanna Green.
Oh, hi. So yes, so the agents, and you'll notice that the Amiel page and Yael, maybe we can deal with this kind of offline, but
Sure.
there's in the registration, it asks what group you're part of. So that's
Hmm.
where we would point you as an agent specifically. But yes,
Okay, so we use the registration page, but we can talk offline about how to properly
all of the
register.
technical things on that. Yeah, and
Okay,
welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
thanks. And while I'm at it, I do have another question. How much availability do you have? Like, how full are you, and how many people can you still accept? If you know.
Uh, it's a very good question. I don't know how many rooms were blocked out. I suppose the good news is that no one's banging down the doors to come to Israel at the moment. I mean that tongue in cheek. But we have a bus. The challenge, and let me all, you know what? I want to be honest. We have a bus, and the biggest buses here are about 51 people. At some point, we may choose, if it gets too big, to cut it off because the price is based on a certain number of people per bus. And if we end up with 60 people, then we're going to have to end up having to have two buses. So the buses will be available. I believe rooms will be available. Yael, I don't know, if you know,
No issue with rooms at
no issue
all.
with rooms. Okay.
At this point, we're tourism hopefully is just starting to pick up. So, but for this specific tour, I think we have enough rooms blocked.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
But Joanna, as long as you're asking, if there's a group and we've offered this, and I'll just put it out there public,
Yeah.
if there's a pastor who wants to bring his church and have a group of a private bus of X number of people, we can work
We
that
can
out.
accommodate that for sure, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for asking those questions. Anyone else?
Hi, it's Peggy.
Hi, Peggy.
Nice to see you guys. Do we know how to connect with Fellowship for Airfare?
Yes, that's also on is it on our website, Marzi? It's definitely on the Amiel.
Yeah, both website. Yeah.
On
On
both.
our website, there is a link that connect you to Amiel website. And at the bottom of the page, there is a link about fellowship that you can click and connect there.
Yeah. They're great.
Sorry, which page are you talking about? Because I'm looking at the rootandbranchisrael.com.
Under trip details, if you click, there are a few links. If you click on the first one, it will take you to Amiel page, which is about root and branch trip. And all the details are there. And when you go down to the bottom of the page, there is a link to fellowship website that you can book your flight.
Thank you. So Jonathan, one question I had. So I already registered to have a single room. If I find a friend or someone to go with me, is that something I can change?
Yeah,
Of
definitely.
course. hmm
Definitely.
You would just have to shoot me an email. I believe my email is on the website as well, right, Marzi? I think it's there. I think we updated it.
I think so. It was
Yeah.
Johanna's email before.
Right. I believe we updated it
Yeah,
with my email, and
yeah, we can double check.
yeah, and any updates or changes definitely can come straight to me, and we'll take care of it for sure.
I'm putting in the chat right now, everybody, the direct link to the Amiel page, which is for the registration, making your deposit. And also there, as Marzi said, on our website, rootandbranchisrael.com, but also on Amiel is a link to fellowship. And there's information about travel insurance, which we strongly recommend. Uh, they call it a visa, but it's not really a visa. It's basically a travel tax that everyone who's coming to Israel now has to register for. I think it's about $25. Priscilla, did you want to say something?
Well, I did want to say something, honey. On my trip, my last time, I worked with both Fellowship and Amiel, and I was so glad I did.
Good.
Fellowship travel is only about 90 miles from me, and there were some really fun connections there. But it made my trip much more calm, because there is that possibility of changes. And but both groups were very helpful.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say that. And
Thank you. Good to hear.
yeah, you're welcome, honey. I'm just trying to think of the lady at Amiel that I worked with, but she was a delight. And of course, Leanne at Fellowship Travel is a gem. So if you can work with them, you're in good shape.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you so
And
much for
also,
sharing.
and Jonathan did recommend us using El Al on my trip, and I think that's a good suggestion as well.
So that's also something that I would reiterate because of the situation. Look, I know today we got an announcement about all the flights coming back. United are coming back July 22nd. I believe Lufthansa are coming back on August 1st. But these airlines, as much as they're coming back now, the minute one rocket falls, they're gone. Like they're the
Yeah.
first to fall out. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the one issue is that a lot of flights are their cost is unbelievably high.
Very high.
So right. So I think maybe if you check now, maybe the rates will be better because of the other flights coming back. So now would be the time to book it before anything else happens, but definitely go with Allow during this complicated time because they're the only airline that's not going to cancel if something happens.
Right. And there's another technical piece because we don't want anyone to spend more money than is necessary. In our price, you have a group transfer from the airport. And when we had our group come in this past November, there were instances where everyone basically came in on separate flights, so people waited around at the airport, and it wasn't a problem, but we're not gonna, you don't necessarily want to have to sit at Ben Gurion Airport for 3 hours waiting for the people arriving on the El Al group flight because you were able to save $200 to fly on Lufthansa. And the $200 that you might save flying on the Lufthansa arriving at a time that's not connected to the group flight, also you're going to end up spending in transfer on your own to the hotel. So I want you to, we price this as low as possible. And were we talking about it the other day, Marzi? I think so. We were talking with somebody, I don't remember who, or maybe I was, about how it's not our goal to make money so much on the trip. We want you to be able to come and have this experience. There are people who mark these trips up, $500, $1,000 a person. We'd rather have you come here and pick olives than spend an extra $500. And that includes on the transfers. So please be mindful of that.
Jonathan, with El Al, if there is a disruption, we don't attend, will they provide credit on El Al or do they provide cash refund? Just because I don't get to go to Israel very often.
I just booked a ticket on El Al on my way to the US, and I spent an extra, I believe, $19 what they call insurance, so that in the event of cancellation, you get a credit. I don't think El Al is giving refunds, but that's another really, really, really good reason to have a solid travel agent in your corner who
Right.
knows how to manage it, because on your own, you're going to get stuck, or you risk a greater probability of getting stuck and just being frustrated trying to get your money back.
I can give you an example of we had a group come that was supposed to arrive in May when everything started, like the mess started with Iran, and half of them were booked through a travel agent on El Al. The other half was booked on their own on several different airlines. And the people that were on other airlines never got a refund. They couldn't even connect with the airline. No emails, no phone calls. But the ones with the travel agent got all their money back, whether
Yeah.
it was some asked for credit, some asked for
Yeah.
cash back, but definitely going with an agent is the best.
Yeah, it's safest. I travel a lot and I have my status on United, and if I have a problem, I know how to manipulate the system. But it doesn't always work out anyway. But we strongly encourage it. We don't make any money on your tickets. We want you to get the best deal, and we're very, very confident with Fellowship. Rachel, welcome. Now it's Rachel. Even though we have two Rachels, but you're muted. We don't hear you. You're muted.
Here we are. I'm really sorry I had to take care of something very important, my grandchildren, and that in my life takes precedent over everything else. So I
Absolutely.
apologize. So, Yael is the manager of the program and of the tour, and I'm
Okay. Well, where you are, there doesn't seem to be good reception.
okay.
Okay.
Was there anything special you needed?
No, we wanted
Can
to
you hear
welcome
me?
you. Not so much. Oh, wow. You're just showing us your view, huh?
No, wait. Okay. Yes,
Wow,
that's Tel Aviv on the other side. This is
that's
my son's house. So I
beautiful.
apologize again. Is there anything that you needed to know from me? Are you guys
No, we're
okay?
really great, I think. Thank you. I'm glad you're here and we can introduce you, because too often the people on your side are invisible. So you and Yael and Johanna, who's been with us this time, and we're waiting for good news about her baby.
Yes, she went to have a special checkup today. That's why she couldn't be.
Okay. Well, we're just looking for good news.
Yes.
No, thank you. Does anyone else have any more questions? Yeah, Joanna.
So if you're encouraging people, you're saying it's a good time to buy air right now. Does that mean with the numbers you have right now, is the trip guaranteed to go?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, apart from emergencies and bombs falling, it's
Yeah.
guaranteed to go. Okay. And then the other question is, with the roommates, I guess someone wants to sign up but needs a roommate. Do you have like a pairing program?
Sure.
Okay. I thought that's what I understood. So they can
Sure.
sign up, pay the double occupancy rate, and hopefully you'll find a roommate for them.
Absolutely. And that's based on availability. If there's
Right.
a single traveler of
Mhm.
the same gender or whatever, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Nicholas, I see your hand.
Yes, thanks, Jonathan. I just wanted to ask, are train tickets very expensive in Israel? If for any reason something went wrong and I missed the shuttle, is that an option to get a train to Ashdod?
Yeah, definitely. And no, they're not terribly expensive. You need to make a connection from Ben Gurion Airport to Tel Aviv and then take a train south to Ashdod, but absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
The trains here are great. I love taking the trains.
Okay.
Other questions, folks? Some of you who we don't see.
So actually, just talking about trains brings up a question for me. So last year we basically all, Jonathan, you kind of arranged to pick us up at the airport. This year, are we going to need to figure out how to get to Ashdod?
No, so that's what I was saying, that people arriving on group flights, and Yael, Rachel, what is a group? Minimum of how many?
So I believe, so it will depend. What we included in the cost is one transfer from the airport for a full bus to head down to Ashdod. Whether it's 20, 15,
Okay.
60, we're going to do that transfer, but we're going to have to see who's on what flights we have. And then the bulk of the people who are going to arrive on the same flight or flights around that same time will be on that transfer.
Right. And that's one of the reasons also that it's good to work with fellowship, because they understand that we want to put people on the same flights for that very reason. But no, we will be having a group transfer, and everyone who comes on their own or at times that are not workable to be part of the group, then the transfer will be on your own. And the same way Joanna just asked a question about pairing up roommates. Eric, if you arrive on a separate flight coming from the US and Nicholas arrives on a flight coming from the UK and they're within an hour of each other, but it's 3 hours after the group flight, then we will certainly pair the two of you together to share either go on the train together and become new friends, or share a taxi.
But we will know before everybody arrives, your flight
Yes,
details.
of course.
Correct.
So that's how we can coordinate the transfers.
Correct.
And look, if you also if you come at a regular time and you miss the bus, then maybe you can always call us, and then we'll try to connect you to a cab company or whatever. So
we can arrange for the transfers for you, for anybody who's on a different flight. We have our own specific transfer companies that we work with that are trusted, that are drivers that we work with for years, and we can arrange for the transfers for you.
Excellent. Good. More questions? We don't want this to go on all night, but all day. Yeah, per se.
Just, I forgot. What are the dates, honey, again?
The 19th to 28th of October.
19th to 28th. So you want us to arrive on the 19th?
Correct.
And depart on the 28th?
Correct. I think. Actually, I'm not.
But anyone wanted to stay longer, that's your decision. You can stay longer and enjoy Jerusalem, but the program is until 28.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All righty.
Okay.
So if you want to make an extension, you can do that through us also. You says, well, the program finishes on the 28th, but I want to stay another 3 days. Then our office can make the arrangements for you.
Right. Okay.
if, like Rachel said, if anybody wants to stay on for additional nights or at a different hotel in Israel, anything that you would like to add, just send me an email and I'll be happy to help. We can assist
Right.
with booking that for you.
Right.
Or we can come
I
earlier.
can't hear you.
Or we can also come earlier.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
So earlier, if you came earlier, rented a car, and then we could meet back at the airport to drop off the car and pick up the shuttle bus, right?
That's a very smart idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everything froze.
Hmm. I don't know if that's us or you. Everyone else, I think, is good. But yeah, Corla, that's an excellent idea. That can definitely be done. Okay, great. If there's no other questions, Marzi, do you want to talk about your other big vision?
Yes. Thank you so much for giving me this time again to share about that idea. As I mentioned earlier, I shared about root and branch vision, and I mentioned that it always starts with a vision idea, and then I think it's the Holy Spirit expanding this vision, how we can expand it and reach out to more people and do a meaningful things in regarding connecting Jews and Christians. So I shared with John. Sometimes I bombard him with my ideas. I'm so glad that God put us together to work on these great visions. What we are doing now, it's a conference that we are planning, a conference in Atlanta, September 5th and 6th. And we are going to have 2 days conference. The first day is going to be Friday, which is a Shabbat dinner. Jonathan is going to lead that and host people. And we are inviting Christian leaders and Jewish leaders together. And the second day, we are going to have a panel of the leaders, influential people, and those who love Israel to be able to share their visions, their ideas, and talk about the importance of this unity. The name of the conference is a Root and Branch Unity Conference. And I got that idea again to not only to do it in Atlanta. We are going to start in Atlanta, but my vision is that to do it in any other states and to connect as much as Jews and Christians together. And I think it's very important, especially at this time, that we know that all around the world they are spreading hate against Jews. And this is for us as Christians, we know that it's a critical time. We are closing to the end times, and it always starts with the Holy Land, Israel, and the enemy. You know that their plan is to destroy Israel and to exterminate Jewish people. So this is this has already started all around the world, and trying to spreading lies and propagandas and just hate toward Jewish people. So that's why I think this is very important, especially this conference. And just before our Zoom meeting, I shared with Jonathan that I would like to have this not only in the United States, but we can have it internationally, organizing this conference at different places, to invite Jewish leaders and Christian pastors and other Christians. And since we started this in Atlanta, we are putting things together. And we shared with some of our friends, and it was very positive. Everyone are excited to join us, to join this conference. I hope that if any of you are in Atlanta area or close to Atlanta, if you wanted to attend the conference, you are welcome. But I just wanted to promise that we definitely are going to have this in other states and hopefully in other countries as well. Jonathan, if I missed something, you wanted to share more details about it, you're better than me in sharing details. But I'm very excited for this idea again, that with everyone I shared, they were positive and they said yes, they wanted to join and be part of this conference. And I'm sure it's going to be a blessing to everyone, and also to understand why it's important for Jews and Christians to be united, and especially at this time for me, as someone who was born in Iran, especially after the Islamic Republic regime started shooting toward Israel. That's very meaningful for me and Jonathan, me being born in Iran as a Persian, and Jonathan as a Jewish Orthodox, to stand together and to show, because that's my bigger vision through my nonprofit newpersia.org. One of my pillars is to restore the friendship between Jews and Persian. And I feel that I am one person, but God can do great things even through one person. And I wanted to show this not only to Jewish people, but to many Iranians. And hopefully after the fall of this regime, that to understand why it's important to restore this friendship and to end this evil regime that is the head of all those terrorists all around the world in the Middle East. And I invite each one of you, if you're available or if you can fly, we are going to have a very good place, probably at the hotel for Jewish leaders that it's Shabbat, they can't travel to stay. But if you are interested to travel to participate, this is going to be like, root and branch that we started in Israel. I think it should not just be in Israel. It should be root and branch should be all around the world. And we are working on that to expand this project and this idea as much as we can, and to be able to defeat the enemy that tries to spread hate against Jewish people.
I have nothing to add, but thank you.
Thank you. If anyone has a question, please.
What time will that start, honey, on the Friday?
I believe we're talking about 6 o'clock.
So we would have time to come an early flight on the 5th if we wanted to.
Correct.
Okay, and then how long are you looking to it till it ends?
Through Saturday afternoon.
Through Saturday afternoon. Okay.
Yeah, on Friday we are going to have speaking. I'm going to speak. Jonathan is going to host the host Shabbat, and we will have a host committee that people decided to join to be part of the host committee. And also on Saturday we are going to have a panel of leaders to ask questions and to share why it's important to be united, us as Christians with Jewish people.
Joanna, I think I saw you come back up and you're unmuted. You have a question?
Yeah. Can you guys throw in the link to the conference to sign up for the conference in the chat box?
It's not live yet, but we will get it to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are you based?
I'm right outside of Philadelphia, but we actually have to be in Atlanta for a pastor's conference. We're a vendor there because we do faith-based tours. So we're there till September 3rd.
Oh, wow.
And I have a pastor on staff that would absolutely love to attend. I can't stay, but he could probably stay and attend it. So he would love that.
Thank you.
Yeah. We will share the link as soon as possible. We set up everything.
Yeah. Okay. Marzi and I are always available. The emails are coming from our shared root and branch Israel@gmail.com, but be in touch with us. We've got great partners with Amiel and with Fellowship. And I would just say, make your deposits and get your roommates. Marzi?
Can I ask one more question real quick?
Yes.
So last year, I don't remember when it was, we had a page where we could set up our own personal information and
we're gonna chat on that. We're gonna chat on that. I know I didn't get back to you, Eric. Yeah, I'll get back to you. And I know Sarah's here as well.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, everyone. God bless you.
See you soon.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Bye.
You.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye bye.